and Shannon Sharp. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, good morning.
You know what?
How we doing?
If Lagon were playing for Team USA like he should be instead of out there promoting that Space Jam ripoff that he's doing, maybe this wouldn't be happening to Team USA.
You got the best player in the planet on the planet.
That's true, and that's all they need.
Where's Kawhi anyway?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
Yeah,
He's getting surgery is what he's
This is interesting, this whole situation, and we need to address it. Before winning a gold medal, Team USA, they need to show they can win a game first. The Kevin Durant, like Shannon mentioned, led American squad suffered their second straight setback yesterday as they lost to Australia 91-83. Patty Mills led the way for the Aussies with 22 points. And the Americans had their chances late, but a late air ball and turnover ultimately did them in. The only good news is it's only a pre-Olympics exhibition here, so this isn't the real deal yet. Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how concerned should we be right now about Team USA?
Skip, I'm at an 8. I'm concerned but I don't think the team is constructed very well. When you look at the team, they're a very, very small team. Really, your only true two bigs, I mean, if you consider those guys bigs, is Draymond and Bam. They're also your only two primary defenders, but they're like not perimeter defenders. If you look at the way the dream teams have been, and this is not a dream team, but if you look at the way they've been constructed, you look at Scotty and Mike. You had 2 7-footers in Patrick Ewing and David Robinson. You've always had a Dwight Howard. You've had a Tyson Chandler. You had a Shaq. You had an Elijah Wan. But they don't have that. They said, you know what we're going to do? The way the game is going now, the way the game is shifted, Skip, we're going to score. We're going to outscore you. We're going to outshoot you. Well, hell, in 2 games, Nigeria and Australia have outshot you. And guess what else is happening, Skip, because they're small? They're getting killed on the glass. They lost Nigeria by 12. They lost last night by 7 to Australia. This is not shaping up to be well. At some point in time, somebody's got to say, you know what, we're going to take a back seat. Skip, it's not a glamorous. You don't get credit. You don't get bonus points for leading the Olympic team in scoring. You might not know this, but Charles Barkley led the original Dream Team in scoring. But he wasn't as big as Mike. He wasn't as big as Magic and Larry. So you got to be willing to take a back seat, Skip. I remember, I think it was 2012. Kobe went to Coach K and says, look, I'm here to defend. Put together a tape of the opposing team's best offensive guys. I got them. Now, you know Kobe could play D. D-Wade was willing to play D. LeBron, if he needed to, could lock up. But right now, Skip, everybody's like, and they need a point guard. They need a true point, a guy that can get them in and out of set, get them easy shots. Right now, they don't have that. Now, Skip, I'm not in one of these camps that believe because we have all NBA players that we're supposed to be dominating. We're supposed to blow these teams out like they did in the original, like they did early on. Because the world is starting to catch up. The world has some of the best players also, Skip. Yeah, I believe we have overall the most of the best players in the NBA. But you see Jokic, you see Doncic, you see some of these guys, Sabonis, Skip, Giannis. They have guys that can play at a very high level. They're superstars. So I'm not in this camp, we should be beating these teams by 50 points. No, we shouldn't. But I do believe we should be winning these games. And I understand that a lot of these teams have played together a lot longer than we have. They're just as ragtag for us. This is basically an all-star game, Skip. They came together, 5-6 days ago, and they're trying to go out there and compete. But because the team is not constructed, I believe, in the right way, with no defenders, all scorers, no true point guard, no bigs to protect the rim and rebounding, I think that's what we're seeing, and it's showing its head. But guess what? There's some other teams that got bigger play, the Serbs are a little bit bigger than the Nigerian team. Now, I believe the Nigerians, they shot, 23, Skip? I don't know if they're going to be able to shoot like that consistently. But the Americans are going to have to defend that three-point line, Skip. They're going to have to do a better job defending the perimeter. Jason Tatum and KD got backdoored how many times? Patty Mills is taking people off the dribble. That'll get you beat. That'll get you beat.
So you're all the way up to an 8.
I'm an 8. I'm an 8 with level of concern.
The fire alarm is going off. Yeah. Right?
Well, that's just, it's just one game. Skip, you got to think about it. They lost 2 games in over 10,000 days. They lost 2 games in 48 hours.
Okay, so my scale 1 to 10 of concern right now for this team is at a 2. And it probably should be at like a 0.5.
Okay.
But I will give you this. The world is catching up to us, and every time we have another international games, it just gets a little closer and a little closer and a little closer.
Yeah.
And last night we were playing an Australian team that had 5 in, what is it, 6? I think 1, 2,
Patty
3,
Mills,
4, 5, 6.
Ingalls,
It's 6 NBA
Dellavedova.
players, and all these kids who are now men, they grew up together.
Yes.
So they've been playing internationally together for a long, for
at
going
least a
back
decade.
about a decade. And Patty Mills is getting up there in years, and Aaron Baines is getting up there, and Dellavedova is up there, Ingalls, but they're aging players, but they're brothers.
Yeah.
And you got to respect the fact that they can just walk on the floor and click.
Yes.
And there's going to be chemistry among the Aussies.
Basically like Tom Brady and Gronk.
That is true.
Because they played together so long, they went right to tab and picked right up where they left off.
And just for the record, back in 2019, we played them in an exhibition ahead of world competition, and we lost to them by 4 in an exhibition. So that was one of those 54-2.
Correct.
We lost that. And then back in 2004, to your point, we did lose to Italy badly, 95-78 on the way to the Olympics that we we bombed
laid an egg.
Yeah, we laid the biggest all-time egg ever, and we got the bronze, so we finished 3rd, and we lost 3 games in that Olympics, and that was a team featuring AI. Starberry was on that team. D. Wade, Melo, LeBron was a very young player, and he didn't play that much. Stoudemire, Tim Duncan was on that team. Lamar Odom was on that team. So it had its star power, and it finished 3rd.
Right.
And it got its butt kicked 3 different times in that Olympics, and then lost the semifinal to the eventual champion, Manu's Argentina. Okay. So now back to your point about size. Let's start with size. So they did. They actively and publicly said, we're going to build a shooting team as opposed to, at the sacrifice of pure height.
Right.
So I don't know, what's another American center that they had a shot at? There's a guy playing in the finals right now named DeAndre Ayton.
Bahamas.
He's Bahamas, so that doesn't work. I don't think he qualifies. I'm not sure about it, but I don't think he qualifies. So then, we go Embiid, Cameroon, we go Jokic, and I'm looking around, and the landscape is kind of dry.
It's Kevin Love.
Yeah, it's Kevin Love. Or, DeAndre Jordan, who's up there in years, and he wasn't even able to crack the playing time playing in the playoffs. He was a DNP every night.
Yes.
So I'm not sure where else you could have gone with that.
AD got hurt. AD's injured. So he's really one of the...
That would have worked.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that one. But he's hurt.
Yes.
And you mentioned a bunch, you got Kawhi, and you got Kyrie, hurt.
They should have, maybe Paul George. Paul George can shoot and can defend.
Yep, okay, I'll buy that. I don't know if he wanted
Maybe
to
he wanted to, considering that what transpired many years ago, he's like, no, I'm done with that.
It might be that he's done with that. Okay, so now I look at Australia. They're pretty good. And remember, this team will vie for the gold. This is one of the top 3, anyway, teams going to the
Spain.
Yep, okay. So I look at these, and again, we got 6 NBA players, but you got a guy nobody here knows named Jock Landale, who's 6'11". I didn't know him, had to look him up, but he played at St. Mary's and was the player of the year in the West Coast Conference. Right. So he was where Patty Mills went to St. Mary's. Right. So he was pretty good. And then he went back to Australia, and he was the MVP of their finals of the Australian Pro League. Right. So he's pretty good, and he's 6'11". And then a guy who caught my eye last night was that Duop Reith, and he's another 6'11" guy who played at LSU and now plays, I think, in Serbia. Right. But the point is, he's 6'11". Correct. So you got issues with these guys who are taller, who are out-rebounding you. Yes. And yet, this is my view of what's going on. Obviously, our NBA season was as escalated and accelerated as it has ever been. Yes. So you got guys who are mentally gassed right now who are not flipping the switch yet. Right. And if you don't flip the switch against these guys, it's like what Ingalls said after the game. We walked into this game expecting to win. And I think they just thought, we're just better than these guys are.
Hey, Skip, I think the thing is, it means more to them to beat the Americans than the Americans to beat these other teams.
Yeah, especially in an exhibition.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I'm not shocked by the outcome because we played a good half. We were up 11 in the first half, then we were up 9 at halftime, and then we got blown off the floor in the third quarter because I think we just mailed it in.
Yep.
32-18.